I, 18F, just found out my little sister, 14F, is pregnant. A few hours ago my little sister told me and our other sister that she's pregnant. We sat in silence for a while because no one really knew what to say, but when we did talk about it I was a little disappointed in her. I feel like I failed as a big sister. What's most fucked up about this situation? She doesn't know who the father is. There are two possible fathers. But what I really need advice on, she's not planning on telling our parents. I don't know how that's going to work, but she isn't telling them. No, that's not the smart decision. I know she'll hate me, but should I tell our parents about this, or should I mind my business and see how this all plays out? Take your sister to a clinic that provides confidential services like Planned Parenthood. I disagree with you telling your parents for her right away. You're 18 and she came to you because she obviously needs help and is most likely clueless on what to do. Take her to a clinic, let them talk to her about her options and have them provide her with materials/resources about pregnancy, adoption, and abortion. Be there for her and support whatever she decides because it's still her body regardless of her age. Help her find out who the father is and, like other comments said, find out if they are 18+. If she wants to keep the baby, encourage her to tell your parents when she feels ready. Your role in this is to be her support system and not throw her under the bus by telling your parents prematurely. Give her a chance to tell them about it first. Edit, thank you for the awards. Don't tell them without telling her you're going to. It's unfair to be ambushed. Also, do you know what her intent is? I know of a person deeply traumatized by their parent making their decisions for them. I'm not sure. She didn't say if she was keeping it or not. Your sister needs medical care, ASAP. You need to get her to a real doctor who will inform her about her choices. You should not spend any more time moralizing this. As someone who actually did get pregnant at 14, yes, medical care is a must despite how she chooses to go about this. My advice on this: 1. Talk to her about her plans and approach her gently to find out who the potential fathers could be. It's crucial to find out if they are over 18. Ask her about her future plans and if she's ready to work harder at achieving them, since many responsibilities come with having a child when you are still a child yourself. 2. Do not tell your parents yet, but act quickly. Take her to a Planned Parenthood or women's clinic as soon as possible. She is young and depending on laws in your country, it's vital that she go talk to a medical professional as soon as possible to keep her options open. 3. Ask her who she wants her support system to be, regardless of the choice she makes. Whether she goes through the pregnancy or not, a young girl is not equipped to carry it all on her own. You know your parents best, and if they could react badly, she's going to need people to rely on. Once you've done all of those steps, then you can proceed. An ambush will stress all parties involved out more than sitting your parents down to have a calm conversation will. If she chooses to terminate and not tell your parents because she fears they'll react horribly, don't. Once again, you know your parents best, and if keeping an abortion a secret to allow your sister to continue living in the house, then you need to think of her safety, but only if the father is also the same or a similar age. Look up the statute of limitations on consent in your area. If the father is not of similar age, you must tell someone immediately. She is a victim of abuse, and you can't stand by that. I hope everything works out for her. I couldn't possibly imagine the inner turmoil. You need to take her to the nearest Planned Parenthood or similar clinic as soon as possible. There are places called crisis pregnancy centers. Stay as far away from them as you can. They're known to dispense false medical information and use over-the-top guilt and coercion tactics to try to convince you to keep the baby. The last thing your sister needs is that experience. If she wants to keep it, fine, but she needs real medical information and a clear idea of her options and all possible consequences. My 34F son, 16 meters, suddenly wants to move in with his father, 34 meters. How it ended: my son has been seeing the boy next door romantically, Turns out the move had nothing to do with me or the father. After speaking with the father and my son, I've decided to check myself into a mental health facility. I don't think I'm coping very well with much and I need help. My ex will also be looking after my youngest son while I'm away. My son and I have always been close, so has my son and his father, however lately he's been a little more withdrawn. Every time he comes back from his father's house he complains that he didn't want to come home and he wishes he could just stay there. He doesn't join in much on family time anymore, and anytime I try to have a serious conversation about what's going on with him he just repeats that he wants to go live with his dad full time. I have no idea what could have brought this on. We haven't done anything differently. I asked him if it was my new boyfriend if he was mistreating him and he said no. I just don't understand why he'd want to leave and not tell us why. It's making me wonder what his father is up to and what he's telling our son, although it's hard to believe he'd say anything bad about us considering we split on good terms. What do? I don't want to lose my boy. Update, as suggested by many, I decided to cut off my relationship this morning in hopes the house won't be uncomfortable anymore. This led to an extremely heated conversation with my son where he's decided it's appropriate to call me an idiot for ruining things with this guy. Needless to say, he still wants to move in with his dad. I'm dropping him off there today. Update, my son has taken it upon himself to contact my ex and tell him I needed to talk. He'll be in trouble for this later. He arrived safely at his father's and will remain there. I think he's going to be just fine. Mom to mom here. If you don't want to lose him, let him go live with his father. However it turns out, let him go and let him know he can change at any time and no questions, then just leave it alone. But to help him make his decisions come true. He loves you, he just needs to experience this. Like I said, it can be great all the way to bad, but he needs it anyway, and you letting him do this without any guilt makes it so you can help him, if he needs it. If this goes not how he thinks, just love him and let him go. Make sure your family time is important again to him because it'll be less, but that's okay. Just make it a good experience for all. My middle one did this and then my youngest. It worked out very well to let them go, and then they, in my case, got to see and came back on their own. I had no desire, my case, I know yours is different, to slam their dad, but they aren't dumb and they had to see some things without me in the middle, buffering them from the things their dad did. Yours sounds like a good thing, but either way, no guilt, so you can be there if they need you and so they can get what they want with this move. Best of luck. Edit, added, for clarity in that sentence. You continuously mention in your comments that you'll break up with your BF to make your son happy, but you never even think about the possibility of letting him stay with his dad. Let him stay with his dad. He's a teenager, he's growing up, he wants to see his father more. If you don't let him, you'll just see more and more retaliation and you'll both grow to resent each other. Oh my Lanta, I have read a ton of your comments. Just let the kid live with his dad. Might simply be your son growing up, going through puberty, and wanting to be closer to his main male role model. Might be that he simply doesn't feel as comfortable now living with you and your BF. Might be that he enjoys certain perks at his dad's. I don't want to lose my boy. You're not losing your son just because he wants to spend more time with his dad. Edit, your edits are so strange. Why did you break up with your BF instead of simply waiting things out, seeing how things go for your son living with dad? If you feel codependent/anxious on your son, therapy might be a good start. Or are you somehow bitter toward your ex for unresolved reasons? I don't think he made a bad decision, I think he made a terrible one, and he will realize in time that it was a move he shouldn't have made. He'll end up regretting it. And this comment, I just can't. So your son wants to live with dad after spending 16 years with you, and now he loses his allowance etc. because actions have consequences? Did too, it gets only better. He's choosing another family, which now means Op doesn't want her own son in his life. Why do we have to give love to those who don't love us anymore? The boy is 16, wanting to stay with dad for a while, not an adult getting married. So many issues. Your son wants to be with his dad. He is 16. Time for him to fly. You let him go. I, 16F, think my sister, 18F, may have been sexually assaulted. A few nights ago I went to a party with my older sister. My sister ditched me to go hang out with some guy. I'm not sure where she went, but she said they were going to find somewhere private. A few hours after the party, as we were going home, my sister was super quiet. She wasn't saying anything. I could tell something was up. As soon as we got home she ran into the bathroom. All I could hear is her crying. We have a connected bathroom. The next morning I went into the bathroom and she was on the toilet. She had bruises all over her legs and thighs and she screamed at me to get the fuck out. I told her I wasn't leaving until she told me what happened, and she just got up and left. She stays in her room crying most of the time. Her room is always so dark and she just stares at the wall crying. She doesn't even get up to bathe anymore. My mom literally had to grab her by the arm and my sister just fell and she just started crawling and holding her stomach to the bathroom like she was in physical pain, and my mom says, "You're being lazy, get up." She gets frightened when my dad and brothers come near her. She cries a lot over the smallest things. My parents haven't noticed she's acting differently. Could sexual assault be the case? Should I ask her about it? Should I tell our parents? Too long didn't read. I went to a party with my sister. She left with some guy. Now she's acting strangely. I'm going to give my 2 cents. Don't tell your parents until your sister gives you the okay to do so. Okay, hold up. All of these commenters saying tell your parents are ignoring that she has already displayed clear signs of depression and trauma and they haven't done shit. Is there any adult you and your sister trusts who you could confide in? It does not have to be your parents if you do not feel they will react with love and compassion. Edit. Also, you are such a good sister. What your mom said to her wasn't okay no matter what. She was in pain and crawling to the bathroom, and the first thing your mom says is that she's being lazy. That's messed up. So how would your parents treat her if you told them this, or if she denied it? You need to talk to her about it. You need to tell her what you think happened and show her support. She might push you away, and you'll have to give her space. Telling your parents depends on how your parents are. She shouldn't be pushed to talk about what happened, but her safety is important too. All of this really depends on how you think your parents would react and how she would react. If it was less than 72 hours ago, please go to a pharmacy and get her a morning after pill. In the US you are allowed at your age to get one without a prescription, and the pharmacist may not ask you anything aside from if you have questions about using it. It should run about $40 to $50. Bring her food and water. She might reject it for now, but she is more likely to eat/drink if it is in her room with her. Tell her you love her, you want to keep her safe, and you will help her with anything difficult that she may need help with as a result of what may have happened. If she does tell you, let her decide if she wants your parents to know. I'm concerned about the pain and stomach grabbing. You may want to try to get her medical attention. She also could benefit from therapy. Unfortunately, your parents will find out about any insurance claims and will likely try to pry information out of both of you. Just speak to her gently, and if she doesn't want to speak at all, write her notes. Tell her you love her and will protect her as much as you can. Tell her she can hold your hand or hug you, but only if she wants. You are a wonderful sister. Hold up on telling your parents. I know that's the seemingly responsible thing and it definitely takes the pressure off of you, but what kind of parents are they? If they're not concerned about her behavior, will they react in a negative way to this? From personal experience, I tried to tell my mom when it happened to me and her reaction pushed me into the deep end. Lots of victim blaming, and that probably didn't even happen. If you're going to tell someone, tell her personally you think that's what happened to her and she needs to seek professional help to deal with the mental issues that come from a traumatizing event like this.